Hey guys, welcome to Trucking and Politics. My name is David. I wanted to come on here and introduce myself, introduce the channel, tell you a little bit about myself, why I created this channel, what's going on here. I have got several truck drivers that I am friends with, and we have been talking quite a bit about the downturn of trucking and as it relates to the downturn of this country. So I have been talking to them about we need to get together and do something to change the way trucking is, the way the country is. I fully support the movement that Trump stands for. I'm also a fan of Vivek Ramaswamy. Some people may not like him. I've listened to him extensively, and what he says makes sense to me. Some people see him as a spin-off of Trump, but he has said some stuff that Trump hasn't said, that he's brought up some stuff that Trump, I feel like, has looked over, and I think he would be a great president. I honestly do. I'm sorry if some people don't agree with me on that, but probably his downfall will be his ethnic background. Sad to say, but that's probably what will rule him out of ever becoming president, if he runs for the next election, not this one. This one is all Trump, as most people know. And I'm okay with that. I mean, Trump was the original. He was the one that got this movement started. And I support, what he is doing and what he's coming up with. Our country, just like Trump has been saying, is in trouble. Trucking is in trouble. And it has been for a long time. It's going in the wrong direction. It's been going in the wrong direction for a long time. I want to introduce myself, tell you about me. This is what this video is about, is my credentials, if you will. Where I come from, what I'm doing, and where I plan on going. Let's get started anyway. My name is David. I have been a truck driver for almost 25 years now. I started out working odd jobs, retail jobs. I had one fast food job. I absolutely hated that. I've done factory type work. I really didn't hit my stride. I never went to college, by the way. I'm a high school graduate. I went to some Botech classes, but I never went to actual college. I hit my stride whenever I got about 21, 22 years old, and I went to work for a retail company. It was a grocery store. At first, I was just low man on the totem pole, shopping cart getter, bag boy, whatever you want to call it, stalker, floor sweeper. I just did whatever. But I made it from there to assistant manager of that store in about 7 years. I put my nose to the grindstone. I went to work and I made something of myself. I thought that particular store and that job would be a long-term career for me. As life happens, change happens, and that's part of life. I remember going into the store one day and telling my manager my girlfriend at the time was pregnant and we were expecting, and I was excited about it, and his face just went pale. And I said, "Are you not excited?" And he said, "Yeah, but you are in a mess at the same time." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Did you not know the big giant retailer is coming in here?" And I said, "Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't know why I'm tiptoeing around it. It was Walmart. Was coming into the area that we were at." And he said, "They will not allow us to stay here." I just couldn't understand his logic to that. And I said, "What do you mean they won't allow us to stay here?" And he said, "That's not their way. That's not the way they operate." Of course, I still didn't understand what he was talking about. And I pulled up a chair and I said, "Why don't you explain to me what you mean? What are you saying?" And he said, "Look, I have friends that work at Walmart. I understand their mentality. When they come in, they dominate. They don't want a piece of the pie. They want the entire thing. They're not going to stand for our store to stay because we are the largest grocery store in town. We're the best grocery store in town." And I said, "Yeah, we are. We work hard here." And he said, "That's going to be their number one goal, is to shut us down." Actually, their number one goal is going to be for profit for them. But number two is going to be to shut us down. They're not going to allow us to stay here. And I was very, very defiant, and I didn't understand. I was young. And I said, "They can't keep us from being here." And he said, let me explain it to you. After a store goes through so many quarters of no profit, it's really any business. It's not just this store. It's any business. After they go through so many quarters with no profits, that is not considered a business. That's considered a hobby. Our owners do not operate a hobby. They operate a business. And they will sell the store, sell the building, shut us down. It's just the way it's going to work. And they did. That's exactly what happened. We would put something on sale, they would match our price. We would try to get customers in for a specific product, they would get 2 times the product at half the price to take away our business. We could not compete. Even though that store had been there and had been established in the area for 20-something years, and I'd been part of it for almost 10 years. Didn't matter. They were intent on shutting us down. to eliminate their competition, and that's what they did. Some people would say, well, that's just the way that the market works. That's the way businesses work. People go to where other people go. They follow the leader. After they came in and established their store there, some of our regular customers did come back. Most did not. And we lost out. That was my first experience with corporations, their takeover, their greed. That was my very first experience. I was about 27 years old at that time. Young. I had a baby on the way. I had to get busy and find another career choice. Without a college degree, it was tough. I had been accustomed to the money that I was making, and I couldn't make it. So I found a factory to work at, and of course I hated it. I didn't want to work at that factory. I did it out of necessity, not because of want. And while I was there, I started talking to some truck drivers that were dedicated to that factory. They were driving long nose Peterbilt 379s, long nose W900 Kenworths, beautiful red trucks. And I would hit them up on the docks and say, how can I be a truck driver? What is weird about that is I'm a third generation truck driver myself. My grandfather was a truck driver. My father was a truck driver. I had a brother-in-law that was a truck driver. Many uncles on both sides of my family was. But they had either passed away or we had gotten estranged or something had happened where we didn't really have that great of a connectivity, or they had passed away. So I didn't know how to get into trucking, even though I should have known, but I didn't. These truck drivers that were driving for this company said, well, unless you have experience, you have to go to truck driving school. And I said, why is that? I don't understand that. They said, well, you have to be trained. You're not going to just jump into truck driving. You're going to have to be trained on how to drive a truck. And I said, I can drive anything. I was full of myself and everything, but regardless, I started thinking about it, looking around, and planning on my next move, and I ended up quitting that factory job. I went to work for a home health company. That was not my thing either, so I said, look, how about I go into trucking. I was talking to my girlfriend at the time about it. She didn't like the idea. I really didn't either. But it meant more money, so I said, hey, let's go for it. She still didn't like it, but we did do that. Now 25 years later, I'm still truck driving. Over my 25 years, almost 25 years of driving a truck, I have been a company driver. I became an owner-operator in 2007, and I was an owner-operator until a couple of months ago. Now I'm back to being a company driver. And it's been a wild ride. It's been crazy. I'm going to get into a little more in depth of that with other videos, but that's the high and low points of where I'm at. Over the last 20 something years, I have sat and watched this country decay, fall down. When I first started truck driving, there was good truck driving jobs everywhere. Comparatively speaking, my very first company driving job after I got out of truck driving school, I was making between $1,400 and $1,800 a week bring home. I'm not really to that level now, almost 25 years later. Company driving and truck driving has either stayed stagnant over the last 20 something years, or it's went backwards. It's not progressing. And what's weird about that is 25 years ago, there wasn't near as many trucks on the road as what there are now. I was just looking at the stats just the other day. They're saying that there's over 13 million trucks on the road in the United States right now. This is 2023. 13 million trucks on the road. And the pay and the benefits has went stagnant or backwards. Something's not right with that. So this is what I was talking to my truck driving friends about what we need to do, or how we need to address this, or what can we do to change this. The stuff I started researching and looking at is crazy. It's crazy. There is a CEO just last year, right after the pandemic, just last year, a CEO of a mega carrier company gave that person in that management position 140% increase in pay in 1 year. And now, and it's a female, which that doesn't matter, but now she is at that pay for the next 12 years. She was already making over $4 million a year. Now she's at somewhere around $12 million a year. And this is after the downturn happened, after the pandemic, after all these trucking companies started shutting down, where life on me was virtually impossible as an owner-operator. She got 140% increase in pay. Something is disastrous about that. That is almost demonic when you think about it. How can a CEO of a mega carrier get 140% increase in pay right after so many independents, owner-operators, and small businesses got shut down? They're celebrating and patting themselves on the back. It reminds me of when I was 27 years old and Walmart came in and shut our company down. They were celebrating because they won. But here's the thing that I have found out in my research. They don't win the game fairly. They don't. It's not a fair game. Because what happens is these mega carriers put money into lobbyists. The lobbyist in turn puts money into the pockets of the government. The government in turn makes laws to where small businesses, small trucking companies, small shippers, small receivers get hit and hit hard. But the mega corporations come out smiling and smelling like a rose. Folks, this is not what our country was built upon. Our country was not built upon mega corporations. Our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution focuses on the small people in this country. We the people, not we the corporations. There is something that is just demonic about the way that our system works. After reading and doing all this research, I just couldn't keep it to myself anymore. I couldn't. Hopefully this channel will take off. Hopefully I will get somewhere with this and I won't just make a jerk out of myself doing these videos. Something has to change, folks. I mean, we don't have a choice. I know the war is going on right now in the Middle East with Israel and Gaza. Jewish people are upset, and they have a right to be upset. They do. Hate me if you wish. But those people have been fighting over there for thousands and thousands of years. I understand if that battle does not end well over there, it affects us over here. I totally understand that. I can't sit here and say we should let innocent people suffer over there. It's why we have a military. It's why we have alliances with other countries. That's why we have peace treaties. We help defend other countries. We shouldn't be the primary defense. We should help. But we have got so many problems in this country right here that I don't even see how we're going to overcome this. We've got a totally open border down in Mexico. Illegals are flooding through. There's a video I want to make about that subject as well. I was just down at the border a couple of weeks ago in Laredo. It was extremely busy down there. Not just for trucks, but for automobiles as well. A lot of our problems are coming in from Mexico. So we have got a lot of problems here. We have got problems with our government. We have got problems with lobbyists. We have got problems with mega corporations that are just so full of greed and lust for money, they can't control themselves. We have an open border in Mexico. We have drugs that are pouring in here and getting distributed all over the United States. We have a war going on in the Middle East. And we have a problem with the trucking industry that is just a skeleton of what it used to be, even though we've got more trucks on the road than we've ever had on the road before. Folks, we are like a hyperspeed train going 1,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction on so many fronts. It is time that we slow down and we take a really long look at this and we turn this thing around. And I don't know how to do it. Going back to what I said about Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the major things that he said to me that I got out of it was, even though I have some ideas, even though I have some good ideas about what I want to do with the presidency, I can't do it alone. There's no way I can do it by myself. One person cannot change this country. I've heard Trump basically say the same thing, in essence say the same thing. I want to change as well. I want to change myself. I want to change my career with trucking. I want to change trucking totally. But there's no way I can do it by myself. I mean, that's just that is just foolishness to think that one person can change everything. But I'm going to try. I am going to try to get as much information out as possible to try to get as many people on board with me as possible to where we can change this. And I don't know even how to start. That's why I'm coming here. I'm coming here because, for one, I want to recruit people. I want to try to get people to come on board with me, to be on the same page as me. And I want to give out as much information as possible so we can lead a charge and try to change the way this force is going. Like I said, I may fail and I may just show myself as a jerk on these videos, or we may turn this thing around and we may start going in the right direction. I don't know how it's going to be. It's up to us to decide what way we're going to go. But I do know this: in the next few years, if we don't change, every truck driver out here is going to be working for a mega carrier. I have no doubt in my mind about that. They are gobbling up companies left and right. The government is allowing them to gobble up these companies. They're cutting driver pay, they're cutting driver benefits, they're cutting everything. If you work for a mega carrier and you like it, more power to you. But some people choose not to. Some people want to have their own trucking business. Some people want to be an owner-operator. I myself was an owner-operator that had my own truck that was leased onto a company that allowed me to book my own loads. But when you work 5 and 6 days a week and you spend more money in fuel than what you make, it turns back into that grocery store where I was at when I was 27 years old. It's no longer a business, it's a hobby. And you can't support a family and a house on a hobby. So I had to give it up. I gave it up, but my will is not broken. I want to go back. And I don't want to just go back. I want to be successful when I come back. I don't know how we're going to combat this, but let's get it started. Somehow, some way, let's get together and get this started. Look for my next video. You guys have a great day.